Hi everyone, it is me, Sailor Minimoon, Rini here, and today I'm going to talk about a a set of YouTube I have never been in a bind with. And that would be, you know, double right or owner right or whatever you want to call it, or ownership, whatever you want to call it. I am thankful I have never lost my good standing in that. Now, some folks might say, what is your untold? What is your what is my untold about never getting a bind with that? Well, never having anything in my films that someone else could say that was theirs. No songs, no films, no shows, nothing, no film games, nothing in my films that is owned by someone else that could say you didn't do enough to see it as fair work. Well, first off, I don't have any tools to film any of that said stuff, so that's the first thing that would keep me well, you know. And a lot of folks out there might say, well, what about fair work? Aren't dolls fair work? Yes and no. No, because no, since dolls like me were made for anyone to buy and gather and play with and whatever they wanted to do with, so it would be hard to get ownership over every single doll. The only lawful thing on it would be, well, what business had the right to make it and what shop had the right to sell it. But after that, it was yours. So, yeah, I don't have to say fair work when it comes to my films because nothing in my films would fall underneath fair work either. So, yeah, how do folks get in that bind? Well, they work with stuff. They put songs or a film or a show or a film game or whatever, either out of giving their thoughts on it or either scathing it or shaming it in some way or sliding it or doing something to shift the meaning of the work and then hoping that they did enough to be seen as fair work, which is a double-edged sword because sometimes you do it and you are seen as fair work, and other times the owners do not see it as fair work. So, yeah. So at the end of the day, my films might be boring to some. That's a thought out there. And glee to others. But at least one thing they can never do is no one can ever come on and say, well, they own that, because they don't. You know, it would be unless they truly wanted to get them to lose their good standing for doing a fake ownership strike on the film or double right or owner right or whatever you want to call it on the film. But earnestly, no one's going to truly do it because none of this stuff is owned by them. You know, they can't say there's any songs in it. They can't say that I did a film or a show or a play. They can't say there was a film game or anything in it that they was owned by someone else. So yeah, I don't do any of that. A long time ago, when from Sailor Moon Red to probably Sailor Moon's Best One, I at one time used to do. I once did. Um, live draw. Well, we would take drawings and make things like the dirt sheet with Alan and Ann, or that Wisdom Man with Hilotomo, right? And we were lucky enough that fell underneath fair work. We were lucky, but we stopped doing that a long time ago after the Dell with Windows Vista went, and that's when we decided to be done with it and never do it anymore. So yeah, even then we never gotten in a bind of ownership or double or owner right of the work. So we've always been in good standing with that instead of YouTube, and probably always will be. You know, because ownership and fair work is a double-edged sword when it comes to it. like I already told you. And I know some folks out there don't like to hear that because in their mind they think that everyone should have the same thought and belief of the work. That everyone should believe everyone's work is fair work. Well, some do and some don't. So, it is what it is. So, how did I keep my good standing all these years? Well, I didn't put anything in the films that was owned by anyone else that someone else could come on and say that's their work. And then under law, YouTube would have to either have to do whatever they asked of them to do to the said work, whatever that would be. But since I don't have anything in my films that would be seen as anyone else's work, it will never ever come up. So that I know. For some folks, that might be too hard for them, and they might want to do stuff like that in their films. Apparently, making films like this might be, something they don't like to do, and they like to work with other stuff. I get that. But I'm just saying my untold of how I never got in a bind of ownership or or owner right of the work or whatever you want to call it, double right or whatever you want to call it. That's how I do it. I just don't put anything in my work that my work it is anybody else's work. So I just don't put nothing in it that's not mine. So that's how it goes. Anyway, if you like that film, then follow me over here at Sailor Moon for Life. Or what's the last film we made yesterday over here with Sailor Venus talking about the hate of the Deacon Cloverway English offshoot of Sailor Moon. And that's it. I'm Sailor Mini Moon Reenie, and I hope you like this film. Bye.